You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe.
And 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe. And worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub, your favorite place for movie news and reviews. We broadcast live every Thursday on 104.5 and 106.1 from beautiful Conroe, Texas. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at _Ticket Stub on Twitter, the Ticket Stub Podcast on Facebook. The Ticket Stub is sponsored by Movie Tavern. Movies never tasted so good. You can visit irlonestar.com for information about the show and sponsorships, or you can give us a call at 936-647-3776. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. My name is Connor. I'm one of the hosts of the show, and we are joined in the temporary studio with my good friend Chris Appel. How you doing, sir?
Good. It smells like rich mahogany in here.
Yes, it sure does. We are broadcasting from the Conroe Tower in downtown
the
Conroe.
highest spot in the city of Conroe. Is that right?
It probably is, but that's not a...
I might have just made that up.
I don't know. It seems like it is. I mean, in the Conroe. The Woodlands has the large tower, but we're also joined by producer Dick. How you doing?
Doing well.
So, for those that don't know, we are in a temporary studio. The primary studio is being converted, having a little facelift, and actually a second studio, I believe.
Should we do that too? Should we get facelifts?
Yeah, well, I've been slowly doing Botox, like a little bit by little bit.
I thought you looked younger.
I didn't want people to realize it. Thank you. But so we're here, very gracious to the people of Conroe, whoever it is that's letting us use this space.
Yeah, it's the city of Conroe.
City of Conroe. Okay, thank you, City of Conroe. But we're a little bit, it's just a little different, a little change. We don't have headphones on, which is weird. We can't hear ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever seen our ears.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, take a good look, Facebook.
I know. We probably look.
Which is a bummer because that's my best feature. My ears are one of my very best features. But the show must go on. Again, grateful to the City of Conroe for letting us use this space. And hopefully it'll just be a few weeks, a couple of shows that will be here. And then we'll get to be in the new and improved studio back at IR Lone Star headquarters. But we've got a good show today for everybody. We're going to be doing a little bit of movie news here in just a few minutes. And then we're doing a group rewind. What'd you say on Twitter? It's going to be a Nell of a good time.
It's going to be a Nell of a good time.
Yeah, we're talking about the movie Nell, which is starring Jodie Foster from the 90s. Was it 1994, I believe?
94
is when Nell came out. But Chris, I wanted to give you a couple minutes to talk about something we're going to be doing this weekend.
Yes, we are going to be at the Grand Theater this Saturday, the 27th at 11 o'clock. We've got our Halloween Carnival going on. So you can bring the kids. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of local businesses there. You can bring the kids. We're going to have trick-or-treating. And then at 12 o'clock, you get to see Casper for $5 plus tax. So that old classic Casper, if your kids haven't seen it, this is a great time to bring them out.
How many theaters? Is it all one theater? Or
it's going to be one theater.
Okay. Is Christina Ricci going to be in HD?
I believe so, yeah.
I hope not. Yeah,
I'm not sure. You know, sometimes we get those old movies and it's like, you can tell it's like ripped straight from a DVD where it's the camera's all shaky and stuff. I don't know if that's what this is, but it certainly is going to be a great,
alcohol
great
looking
movie. Yeah, it can be, yeah.
Okay,
yeah. It can be, yep.
Mm-hmm. If you so desire. It may make, for some of you, it may make your Casper experience more enjoyable. I don't know.
But we're going to have games and, face painting, things like that. You can win prizes, and of course, the trick or treating.
Can we do the face painting, the three of us? Because I think that would be a wrinkle.
I don't know if anybody would let us near their children, but we'll see.
But we encourage people to come check it out and be with us because we'll be hands-on with people and giving out candy.
Yep.
We haven't really figured out what kind of Halloween candy we should get. We got to get creative with the movie candy.
Oh, so are we actually giving candy? Are we giving candy away?
Yeah,
it's like a trunk or treat kind of event.
I know, but I thought we were doing a show, though.
It's trick or treat. No, trunk or treat stuff. No, thank you. No. This is trick or treat. This is Halloween Carnival trick or treat at the Grand. We are going back to the Halloween roots. No, to that trunk or treat stuff.
No, I meant more of just the visual concept of it.
Chris apparently is triggered by the term trunk or treat.
I am. And all these fall festivals on October 31st. It's Halloween.
Well, one of my favorite things about the polarizing idea of Halloween is there's so many drastic things going on. Like there's the kid-friendly, trick-or-treating, innocent, and then you have these movies that are like everyone's getting murdered by the spirit. And even with the new Mike Myers movie, he's just killing people. Like, I'm pretty sure he just kills people going trick or treating. He walks into a dude's house, beats their head in.
That movie
walks
is great,
out.
by the way. It's great.
So I'm like, so people don't really know what to do with Halloween because
It's a little bit of a two-sided deal.
How do you keep positive?
Little
about
kids are so excited, but then murders happen on the regular, right?
it? Well, it's not even that. It's like, oh, we're 5 years old. I really like witches, and it's like, wait till you see the movie The Witch.
But then there's the other element of like the college kids who experience Halloween in an entirely different
Dressing
way, right?
slutty and drinking alcohol to the end of passing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's kind of 3 different experiences that you could have on a Halloween, but the best one would be to come to the Grand Theater on the 27th, right?
I think so.
Where we're combining all of it together.
All of them.
There will be a purge after Casper, so so come ready for that. Bring your weaponry.
In the lobby.
Bring your weapons.
Safe zone is the game zone. That's the safe zone.
No, but it is very kid friendly. We
Okay, all right.
Don't want to steer folks wrong there.
Okay, I want to clarify that. So we'll be there. So if you're a fan of the show and you live locally and maybe you haven't had a chance to meet us before, which is quite the treat in and of itself.
Yeah, you get to see our ears.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm hoping to not have my ears. I may just bring like one of those little things you wear when it's cold.
Earmuffs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
earmuffs. Yeah. Anyways, so that'll be a good thing, and excited for that. Excited to get to see it all. And I'm going to use the word trunk or treat as much as possible between now and then around Chris, because I like the reaction that got. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to move on into the movie news portion of the show. In just a little bit, we're going to, again, do the group rewind of the movie Nell. And so very excited to get to talk a little bit about Nell. But before we go too far into that, wanted to always talk about some things that are going on in the world of movies. Got a couple stories here. Actually, haven't even had a chance to send this to Dick and Chris. So I'll be telling it to them for the first time as well. There is a website, it's a news website, talking about this new movie called Free Solo, which I'm super excited about. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show or not. I can't remember.
Because you're an avid rock climber?
Because all I do is climb rocks, yeah. No, I don't climb rocks necessarily, but I do love the guy who made the movie, and I know the guy who it's about. But Free Solo is a documentary that has kind of come out in a real small scale. I think it's actually going to be at Market Street here in a couple weeks down in the Woodlands. But it's about a guy named Alex Honnold. And what he did was, are you familiar?
Hold on, how do you pronounce that?
I think it's Honnold. H-O-N.
Honnold.
I think it's H-O-N-N-O-L-D. It's like Honnold or Honnold.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know. Okay, you're going to come at me with name pronunciations after 2 years of hearing you butcher like the most common names in Hollywood?
Liam
Neeson. Yeah. I can't wait for some of these to come in. But anyways, there's a thing called El Capitan, okay, which is in Yosemite, and it's
Spanish for the captain.
Yes, I believe so. It's a 3,000-foot wall of rock, and this guy Alex Honnold climbed it with no ropes at all. So one slip, and he dies, right? Mm-hmm. And he's kind of making a name for himself.
He's actually on Joe Rogan today.
Alex Honnold is?
Yeah.
Oh, exciting! I'll have to listen because like I said, I'm super.
He's
into
a
Joe Rogan.
professional.
Nice.
Free solo rock climber.
He is, and one of the reasons why I first got interested in this was because the guy who made the movie is Jimmy Chin, who made another movie called Maru, which is on Netflix, which is about these 3 guys, including Jimmy Chin, climbing this one mountain, and it's so good. It's so good. And so this I'm super excited about. Looks really good. Looks really cool. This Alex Honnold.
Speaking of people climbing and falling, that happened in Nell. What a coincidence.
It's all tying together.
It's all tying together.
But get this. He climbed a 3,000-foot rock wall in under 4 hours. And so there's another documentary, just if you want to go down the rock climbing.
I don't know if is that good?
Yeah, I don't know if that's good.
Well, hold on. Give me a second.
Oh, that's right. You're a rock climber guy.
Yeah, I'm also a pro free solo rock climber. There's another documentary on Netflix called Valley Uprising, which is all about these like the origins of climbing in Yosemite. And these guys who, when it first was getting climbed, it would take them like 3 days. Like they would camp out on the side of the rock, like they would be like a little like hammock on the side of the mountain thing. Okay. Several days. Even as of like a few years ago, it would take people like 12 hours to do it with breaks in between, and like they would stop for a while and rest. So I think he shattered the record by like out, or no one's done it without ropes. He's like one of the fastest ones to ever do it. Anyways, I think it's going to be really cool. Are you whispering?
I had a dream the other day that I was in one of those things, in one of those tents on the outside of a high-rise building.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a dream where I was in a bus and they were hurting kids trick or treating. So we all had dreams, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, I guess
I see.
Imagine waking up from that.
Anyways,
who would want to?
Dick, I think would.
I did. And it was this morning. I was like, I'm a little freaked out. A little freaked out.
Did it
guys.
kind of wake something up inside you though? Like was there?
Well,
a
I had
part-
no control over it. I was just in a bus. I was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "What was that?" And then
Were
I'm
you
like,
driving or were you
no,
just?
I was just in the
passenger?
bus.
Oh, okay. How'd you
So-
know it was kids? You could see them out the window. I
Well, I
guess?
saw Trick or Treat. It was like late night, and the lamps were on, and there was a bunch of people in costumes. Like, are we doing what I think we're doing?
Oh, they were doing it on purpose.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Was this a direct result of Nell? Did Nell inspire some of
You
these?
know what? No one could speak English in this, or stroke English. Everyone was speaking in stroke.
Tay in the wind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this article called "Free Solo: The Best Documentary of 2018." I'm
man.
excited to see it, and I'll be bringing it to the show whenever
Oh,
I get a
man.
chance. Another thing, StarTribune.com said that Stephen King sold the movie rights, the film rights, to one of his books called Stationary Bike. Do y'all know about that? Have y'all ever heard of that?
Yeah, you didn't hear about the killer bike that never moved?
Are you being serious? Okay. All right. Stationary Bike apparently.
Oh no, my shoelaces are caught in it.
is the name of some book that he's written. My shoelaces.
I bet they had like the card, put the little the baseball cards in it,
Yeah.
flapping.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, he sold
And a
the-
stationary bike.
That's like the new tone to the movie will be the new Jaws theme, but instead of the dun, dun, it's the bike.
There you go.
Well, he sold the rights to this book, film rights, to some students in Wales for $1. And so my thought
Okay.
was,
How much of this stuff do you know about?
I mean, just what the article said, not very much. What do you mean?
Did it say anything about like did this kid contact
It's-
Mr. King and go, "Yo, dude, I want to buy one of your movies"?
No, it just said that he's giving them a deal. So
Yeah, but who? I want to know who contacted who.
I'm sure that they reached out to him. I mean, that's all I could imagine. Like, how would he know to find them otherwise?
Well, so
right?
was it a contest? Was it? That's what I'm trying to figure out because that to me is the most crucial negotiating factor. Is I'll sell it to you for.
See, but what I'm cynical, so I immediately thought, like at first I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and then I immediately went to like, wait a minute, he's just doing this for publicity, right?
He does it all the time.
He does this all the time?
Yeah, he's notorious for selling his scripts for $1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well I didn't know that. Do you know any of the other ones?
I want to say Dreamcatcher, and I want to say I think he sold the Inferno one for $15. I think if I read that
Really?
the Tower, the
Yeah.
Dark Tower. Sorry, the Dark
oh.
Tower.
Well, let's find one that
And then-
hasn't been, and let's just buy the rights.
Let's
to
buy it and we'll make it.
Well, I think he does a thing where he makes money off the back end.
Oh,
I don't
he
care.
gets a percentage point.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Well, Dark Tower probably didn't bring him
it.
very
We can
much.
do that.
That was the worst movie I've ever seen. Maybe,
Really?
Maybe not, but up there.
Really?
Maybe not, but up there. Like that. Have either of y'all seen that? That was the McConaughey one, right?
Yeah.
And Idris
Yeah.
Elba. Gosh, it was unwatchable.
I
It
think
was-
Nell might be up there.
Dude, no.
Just because there wasn't interesting, like because Tiptoes, it reminded me a lot of Tiptoes.
Oh, it did.
I'm not gonna
It
lie.
was kind of like a woodsy, like rural
It's the
North
same
Carolina.
cinematographer.
Well, it's more of like the direction of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
where are we going with this? What can you tell me that's going to change the course of this movie? And like Tiptoes really did well on that because it was kept changing. I was like,
it was
they're
several
kissing
movies in
now.
one. At least Nell was only
Oh.
one movie. Like it wasn't like 6 movies in one, like Tiptoes.
But that was what kept Tiptoes interesting. Though.
Yeah, I would watch Nell 5 times in a row before I watched Dark Tower once. I think.
Really?
I think so.
Now I gotta check it out.
You would like it probably. It would be.
Why? Why would I like it?
It would be right in your wheelhouse.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know exactly.
I
what-
mean, granted, Nell in small parts was in my wheelhouse, like in small parts, but
the scenes with Nell only. Yeah, the
pretty much,
solo
I mean,
Nell scenes.
Well, it was just one of those things, and unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to give like my full attention to the movie. But when I'd be listening, I'm helping Holly do stuff for the wedding, and I'm like, speaking of which, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And it was just one of those things. I was like, did they just what? And then I had to like rewind it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh goodness! All right. Well, so Stephen King apparently he's the greatest philanthropist of all time. It is kind of cool. It was just students, like these film students, so like they get to work with like.
Is it though? I mean, what are they going to crank out?
Oh, it's
We'll
gonna,
see.
It's gonna be awful. No, we won't see. Actually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll never know. But whatever. One more story. They're making a movie about John Lennon and Yoko Ono's love story. And I just put this in here because I could care like 0% about John. I know that he's like one of the most famous people ever and stuff
Who's
like that.
playing the characters?
Well, I don't think they've announced any of that kind of. I mean, this is very early on. They're just announcing it's going to get made. They called it a quote unquote epic love story. I might beg to differ that it's an epic love story. I don't know. I mean, epic is maybe an overused word, but Universal Pictures is behind it. I don't know. Does anybody care about Yoko Ono?
Well, they did
I mean,
Bohemian
when are people?
Rhapsody.
Well, you can't say Yoko Ono without having any attachment to the Beatles. So as long as people care about the Beatles, they're going to care about Yoko Ono.
Yeah, but don't they not like her because of the Beatles?
Or some people don't.
The only thing I like about Yoko Ono is making fun of her scream music. Have you ever listened?
What she should have done is been the soundtrack of Nell.
Oh.
And they could have done some sick mix tracks.
Would have been good.
Do you think that Nell inspired Yoko Ono's, or vice versa? Maybe Yoko Ono inspired Nell.
No, what inspired Nell was her mother who had a stroke and refused to stop talking. So that's what.
Hey, Dick, I wish that we could maybe over the week, could we do a mashup of like Nell and Yoko Ono with then like bringing clips from Nell?
There is a good YouTube where it has a bad word title. It's stuff Nell says.
Yeah,
and it's.
But can we splice that into a Yoko Ono song?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, I want us to work on that.
Or a Bjork song or whatever. Like, just think of weird music.
Yeah, I want to work. I'll work on that. I'll make that my project for the week. But
I think next time what I'm going to do is if I meet someone who speaks another language and I don't understand, like, I go, "Are you speaking Nell? Like, what's going on here?" I can't believe this movie exists. I'm just gonna. We're not even talking about it yet.
Yeah,
Get to the news.
Yeah, we're teasing it. That's all the news we've got. Yoko Ono and John Lennon. Who cares? Stationary bike. Look for that student film that I'm sure we'll never see. But I guess Stephen King's a good guy.
You think it's gonna be like that movie Rubber?
Oh yeah,
where it's just the tire moving through town.
So let me tell you a funny. I never watched Rubber, but let me tell you a funny story. In college, some of my buddies heard that it was like the worst movie ever. Do you know? Are you familiar?
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, they heard it was like the worst.
Was in it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I wish.
They heard it was like the worst movie ever.
So
they invited another friend over, like, "Hey, we got this cool movie we're gonna watch on Netflix. Will you come over?" So he came over and they started it. And then one at a time, they each like got up and said like, "Oh, I got to run somewhere else for. Oh, I got to go to the kitchen. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom." And they all just left. And then it was just him sitting there by himself, and he watched like an hour of Rubber all by himself.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, I thought that was kind of a funny prank because it was
Well, that movie definitely takes some time to get into.
Do you ever get into it?
Well, when it's over, you're like, yes, I was into that. I'm over it.
All right. Well, sounds good. Well, we're going to go to break. When we come back from break, we're going to start our group rewind of the movie Nell. We've already been teasing it. We're bursting at the seams here to talk about Nell.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the chance to watch it, at least during the break or right now, press pause and just watch the trailer for Nell. Maybe can we lead in? Or actually, can we lead in with the trailer?
Schindler's List.
Dick, can we lead in with the trailer next?
Two-time Academy Award-winning Jodie Foster.
Can we lead in with the trailer of Nell at the next segment?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay. Our technology will not allow it. So press pause or during the break, check out Nell, and when we come back, we'll be doing our group rewind.
No, we're not in our normal studio.
I know. That's why I asked.
We could act it out.
Ooh,
if you would have taken note from Chris instead of me, you should have read the email.
I read some of the email.
So
yeah, I read some of the email. All right. Well, we got more Nell coming when we are back on the Ticket Stub.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Path to the Plate is a research-based education program that helps consumers understand how their food choices impact their health by making the connection to agriculture. Learning about how food is grown and produced, and how consumers can make better food choices for themselves and their families, Path to the Plate is all about dispelling myths and misconceptions. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
The Ticket Stub is brought to you in part by Movie Tavern, with 2 locations serving the greater Houston area. 18359 Tomball Parkway, just north of Willowbrook Mall, and 9630 FM 1960 Bypass West, across from Deerbrook Mall. The Ticket Stub is sponsored by Movie Tavern. Movie Tavern. Movies never tasted so good.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Hey guys, this is Connor.
This is Dick.
This is Chris.
And we're with the Ticket Stub podcast every Thursday live at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 FM in the Conroe area. Also, anytime at irlonestar.com. You go to irlonestar.com/TTS. You can find all of our social media.
And don't forget, we give away 2 tickets to the Grand Theater on every show.
If you like movies and you like complaining or celebrating anything that has to do with the silver screen, check out the Ticket Stub podcast and join us every Thursday at noon o'clock on Lone Star Community Radio.
We're back on the Ticket Stub. If you missed this last segment, we talked movie news about Alex Honnold and his climb of El Capitan. Stephen King selling the rights to a stationary bike for $1 to film students. And we briefly mentioned that we don't care about John Lennon and Yoko Ono. It is now time for us to talk about Nell. Before we do that, we should mention that we are sponsored by the Movie Tavern.
Movies never tasted so delicious.
And on Saturday, we'll be at the Grand Theater. On the 27th, we'll be at the Grand Theater at 11 o'clock doing our Halloween Spooktacular. Yeah, is that what y'all
This
call
year's
it?
Halloween episode, yeah, it'll be, you know.
Are you going to wear your sweater again, please?
No, I have a different shirt.
Oh, what size is that sweater? Is it an extra large by chance?
What? I don't know.
Probably not, because you're smaller than me.
Why you want to wear that?
I was thinking about it. Okay, we're gonna do our group rewind of the movie Nell. So we're gonna tackle this kind of taking a page out of last month's group rewind, giving it a little structure instead of just talking. I've got some kind of categories that we'll talk through. Overall thoughts, best part, worst part, best Nell line, best a couple things like that. So we'll kind of move through them. But first, let's just do some overall thoughts about the movie.
I want to ask. I'm going to do a little IMDb for you. So,
Okay, do a little IMDb.
In a remote woodland cabin, a small-town doctor discovers Nell, a beautiful young hermit woman with many secrets.
Does she have many secrets?
No, I'm just letting you know that's what
the secret is. No
well,
one knows what
that's
she's
one thing I
saying.
wanted to kind of start with, because when this movie came about through your now fiance,
Yeah,
she said,
Lindsay.
right?
Yeah, Lindsay. She was the one that told me. So
She
thank you.
recommended this?
Recommended might be the wrong word. She put me on to this as a movie that exists, and maybe even said that y'all have to watch. You have to talk about this on the show. Yeah.
And there's some really great YouTube clips of Jodie Foster, who plays Nell, of her speaking her language,
Nelly,
her hermit language, or whatever you want to call it, because it plays a huge role in this movie.
It pretty much, is the plot.
And the question I had going into this movie while watching it made me think of during this time period because this is like current day 1990s in the movie, right? In the movie, it's like current day 1990s, because this movie came out in 1994.
You can tell by their terrible fashion. Am I right, guys?
Well, I was thinking, how big of a news story has it been around that time for wild people? Because that was kind of like the drive. It's like, is this a wild person?
Yeah, they acted like it was a thing.
Yeah, and I was like,
we found it. Like the news, like.
Okay, now we're listening to.
That's Nell.
The way I would describe it, it's like Pig Latin, but not Pig Latin.
Like
but
with more moaning or something?
It's more gibberish. And at least.
Like,
Well, so with that, watching the movie, that's why one of my first thoughts was during this time was
there wild people?
Was there like a legit thing where doctors like, let's discover people who have never been touched by society ever?
Well, it's still a thing.
Well, it's still. I meant more of like.
Yeah, they fly drones over the rainforest, and they see these.
Okay, well
tribes.
it's different.
Well, they've never
it's
been
different
touched
in
by
like
a guy.
rural North Carolina versus like the deep heart of the rainforest.
But no, and that's one thing I kind of first thing when they happened, I was like, wait a second, am I missing something? Would I miss some big story this was inspired by?
I don't know, Chris.
And-
You're older than all of us, so you tell us with your aged wisdom. Was this a thing in the '90s, finding wild people?
I think it's always been a thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
You never know. You've heard of the stories of people being raised by wolves.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're
I think
true.
that's fake.
I don't know
I've
if
also
they're
heard
true,
stories
but-
of.
Well, I've heard of stories of Mowgli.
There you go.
Yeah. That documentary called The Jungle Book.
Yeah, that's real, right?
Yeah, but he spoke English though, didn't he? Or he sang in English.
Well, it depends on what version you watch.
That's true. I guess good point. Okay, so just overall thoughts. So
did they ever come out with that Andy Serkis one?
No, it's not out yet.
Okay.
I think it comes out
I feel like
next year.
they pushed that back because they like realized how stupid that idea was.
Yeah, maybe so.
But anyway, sorry. Let's continue about now.
So overall thoughts. So Liam is the town doctor.
Yes.
He hears about a woman who had died in the woods. He goes to like basically recover the body, I guess. And while he's there, he finds Nell, who is the daughter of the dead woman, and she speaks her own language.
How old do you think Nell is at this time?
It seems like she was supposed to be like maybe mid-20s or something.
Probably, yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I mean,
I couldn't really tell because there was a lot of hints that she was like under like high school age.
Yeah.
But then there was she's been here for a while. Kind of like it's enough to where she's a grown person in the sense of her sexuality and stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I couldn't ever understand. So then Liam's there, and then some other blonde woman whose name it was Natasha Richardson, whatever her character's name was.
Paula Olsen.
Paula. So Paula and Liam Neeson are there, and she's some sort of like doctor also. And there's this whole other plot where they're trying to like get her to come to the hospital for
what it
care.
was Liam Neeson was the town doctor. So he's the normal, you'd go see him your whole life if you're in the small town. Natasha Richardson was a research doctor who wanted to study wild people. Like that's what she wanted to do, and she saw this as an opportunity to study a wild person. I don't know what the word. Was it a wild person? Or
I think they kept calling them wild people. Yeah.
Well, she was like a child psychologist or something.
They did it with like people that have weird speech problems and stuff. But so the question for me, or one of the things, Liam and the blonde lady, and then Nell. It was like, was Liam and the blonde lady trying to pretend? Like, were they trying to pretend like they were like in a parental role, or were they in love, or did Liam have a crush on Nell the whole time? There was like a weird triangle.
Well, that's what I'm
of
saying.
tension.
With the age of Nell, it was constantly changing.
Well, she was Natasha Richardson was kind of accusing Liam Neeson
of liking her. But then also she forced him to like get naked and skinny dip with Nell at one point.
As you do, as a doctor would do normally in real life.
He probably
get naked with your patient.
Logically, he probably goes, "We need to do a full inspection, but I don't want to enter her private space. So this is a great way to observe it." Of course, that's exactly what you would do. And it worked for Holly. I mean, so that's all. And she's a nurse. I was like, I need to get a checkup.
Oh, so she could have worn a swimsuit. That's all I'm saying. If
yeah,
really
or underwear. Just underwear's fine.
Yeah,
yeah. But no, he didn't. He got totally naked.
Yeah.
There was some weird.
Well,
there was some weird Jodie Foster nudity, unnecessary. I would say.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, she's a wild person, so you want to see that wild thing.
But it was unexpected.
Right. Well, no. Again, a lot of this movie, it felt like there's a different assistant director on the set every day, and like the
that'd be a great thing for a movie to do experimentally, is like have a different director each day and just see what the final product is.
And they never agreed on what the overall goal of the movie was. They just understood that it's about a wild person, and that's it. And it's like you get this day scene, you get the next day scene. Like they're interpreting, oh, they like Liam Neeson, they like each other. The next day, no, it's more of a parent.
Yeah,
it's more of like a guidance role. Because the one thing, like, I got after a while, I started researching the movie because there's got to be a shell to this. Like, someone had to write have a purpose to this movie, and then I learned more of, and I don't know if you got this, but there's little things that they said, like Nell was a product of rape, so Nell doesn't like men. She's been taught to hate men, but they didn't really. I guess that was kind of answer some of the I don't know how to put it, like the caution of Nell of like around Liam Neeson.
Yes, but you shouldn't have to go outside of the movie to learn that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
every good movie comes with the necessity
the
of
cliff
research. Yeah. Do you think they scripted all of the Nell talk? Like, do you think that Jodie Foster was reciting word for word gibberish that she had memorized, or do you think they gave her like 8 to 10 keywords?
I do, because I think they said that it was like half words.
Guys, we're forgetting this is 2-time Academy Award winning at the time.
Yeah, she had
Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
So it was either one of those Daniel Plainview kind of things where he goes, "Hey, you're a wonderful actress. You're a proven winner. Do what you do best.
Yeah, method.
Go figure it out."
What if she was Nell? Like, what if she was Method and she was like Nell on the set and stuff like that? They had to like refer to her. She's at craft services trying to get a sandwich.
I don't know if
like,
she has children.
Hey, in the wind, Chickapee.
Pam.
And then my other thought. So did y'all see the movie Arrival? Have y'all seen that yet? Yeah. This felt like the most terrible version of Arrival because the movie Arrival is like two doctors trying to decode the alien language the whole time, and then they slowly.
You know
like,
what's
piece it
weird is
together.
that's a suggested movie.
Is it really?
If you look up Nell and Google says similar movies, Arrivals.
Really?
I was
You like trying to figure out what the
People
hell people are saying. Then you'll enjoy these.
then you'll watch all of
movies.
Jeff Bridges' movies.
Yeah, he could have been the dad. That would have been, but he's actually trying to read real dialogue though. I feel like the older Jeff Bridges gets, like the larger his tongue grows, and he is more and more unable.
No, I
to
made
speak.
a bad joke. What was it? Crazy Heart. I was like, what is that condition that happens when like half of your face?
Stroke?
Well, no, there's another one. It's like cerebral. It's not cerebral palsy.
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always felt like he had that. It was just right here. So he's good like this, and he's like,
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think it's his tongue is like not stopped growing in his.
Or maybe
adulthood.
he's still acting from True Grit, and he hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
He really liked that character that he created.
But
All right.
I've been we're talking about first thoughts and Nell, and that was one of those crazy things going into this movie. Is there's some major good actors and this is actually at like the height of some of them. So this is a year after Liam Neeson did Schindler's List. A year after. That's what blew my mind. Because I was like, wait a second.
It's like the most acclaimed movie of the time.
Yes, and this is the movie he decides to do. And then at that time, Jodie Foster, two-time at the time. I think this was a couple years after the Hannibal movies.
Okay, yeah.
And then, so this is the round table of Nell, of the writer and the director. Like, we're putting together a good team here.
I'm sure it felt good. I'm sure it seemed good.
And that's what kind of weirded me out while watching the movie was I was waiting for it to get really good. And I don't know, and this is what got me thinking. Do you guys think that dramatic movies in the 90s, drama is different from the 90s until in today?
Oh, yeah.
So
it's
like
much
the way,
simpler.
yeah, it is, and it's kind of like I don't know if we're getting smarter in the sense of it's so easy to see where this is going. I'm over it. Or
Well, I think it's today. It's all about fact checking and about realism, and there's no suspension of disbelief now. Really, everything has to be explained fully 100%, or people are just going to be like, "No, I don't get it. That movie sucks." But back then, obviously, with Nell, that didn't matter. So
things like facts.
Well, it's almost like I wanted to say it's like the Disney brush.
Sure.
Where everything is, they're not challenging the audience. It's more of like, this is a feel-good movie.
You didn't feel challenged by this?
No, except trying to understand Nell.
That's a big challenge.
Like turn
The
on.
biggest challenge was understanding the
what I
plot.
love is turn on subtitles. That was interesting.
You did do that?
I tried.
Oh, okay.
I tried, and nothing. Like, it was weird because it would say like indistinguishable noises, and then it would say gibberish. Like they didn't kind of like keep with one thing, or because you could put like Nell's gibberish or Nell's language or something like
Can you
that.
imagine the guy that got that closed caption job?
Oh gosh.
Like, give it to the new guy.
Chickapee.
All right, well, let's move on. So I've got several categories here we want to talk through. The first one is the best part. Let's start with a little optimistic note. The best part
Nell's
of the,
language.
Best for you.
That's what kept the movie for me entertaining.
Okay, so Nell's language would be for Dick. Chris, what about you? Best part?
The best part of the movie to me is when they take her to the hospital and Liam Neeson's carrying her and she sees this the apparition of her sister like in the corner behind glass, and she just like runs straight at the glass and smashes her face on the glass, and blood like just goes everywhere. I'm really curious as to how they did that because it really looks like she smashes her face.
The round table of this movie, they go, we need to make this scene real.
Oh my gosh! But it was startling. Like,
yeah,
she obviously did not see that glass coming. So I don't know if
they used a good Windex at that hospital.
Well, was it I gotta find that
She's
out.
innocent.
Was it just like
she's innocent,
soft
guys. She doesn't know what glass.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what glass is.
she
Remember that
really
scene when she sees herself for the first time,
Yeah.
where she's almost like attracted to her own self.
They were talking about like her split personality or something, but I think it's just because she saw her twin.
and the hand comes out of the mirror?
I think she thought that was her twin when she would look.
Oh yeah,
because she was talking about meh and
Yeah.
and then te or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
what she saw in the hospital. Man,
Yeah, te means tree. Te in the wind, man. For me, the best part, and this is mostly joking because there wasn't very many good parts, but it was nice to see prime Liam Neeson semi-naked sitting on the road. He was in pretty good shape. I'm used to watching, like the Taken Liam Neeson, where he's like 60 years old but still fighting guys. This is like Liam when he was a prime man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was
got
like
pecs and abs and everything.
This was almost like today's like Bruce Willis, where Bruce Willis makes like 10 movies every year, but no one sees like 9 of them.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, like, wait a second, he was in these movies? When was this? And that's what this movie, I couldn't believe it was a year after Schindler's List. I couldn't believe it. It's all like, what did Cuba Gooding Jr. do after Jerry Maguire? What was the first? Was
Boat
that
Trip, I
Boat
believe.
Trip. It's almost similar to that. I know
Yeah.
Boat Trips are that's a
awesome
jump.
movie.
That's a jump for a genre.
It
But
is an awesome movie, though.
Well, the other part I liked of this was the blonde chick doctor. There was parts where she was like jealous of Liam and Nell, and that part I didn't really understand, but I kind of appreciated. Like, at one part she'd be
Well,
like kind of
again-
flirting with him, and then she was jealous that he was with the wild woman.
that's what every day. It's similar to Tiptoes. Like every day, someone had a different idea about this character, and especially when you know that Disney Brush is going to come when they get together. Like it's going to come, and that's when I was like, all right, this movie has no point to it. Like
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Worst part of the movie, Chris. What's the worst part for you?
Oh, the worst part was the naked swimming with Liam Neeson. I mean, that's just in no fashion. His medical license should be revoked straight up right then. You just wouldn't do that. I mean, because that's basically, you would be taking advantage of, a special needs person, I would think at that point. I mean,
well, didn't they
nobody
try to
would-
argue that? That was the first argument that she was. Not special needs. They had a word for it in the movie, where like the courts and stuff. They're trying to prove that she couldn't be by herself.
Yeah.
She had to be supervised.
But she has for this long. That's what Liam Neeson says. Yeah.
You forgot
And
the
where
Sky-
does
you
she
for-
get food? I never see her hunting. She made some firewood, but
Maybe she's
that's-
more of a gatherer,
Yeah,
less
I
of a
guess,
hunter.
I don't know.
She probably eats people. That's why no one ever goes around there.
maybe so.
No one ever returns.
That's why she can't speak English, because the disease that she consumed. When you consume human flesh, it's slowly slowing her brain down. So
There you go.
that would be a great. That's how it should end the movie. That's how the movie,
And then
they
she
find
eats-
all
she
these.
kills
skel-
Liam Neeson
yeah.
and eats him. Dick, worst part for you?
Man, honestly, it's hard to say that there was the production of it was bad or anything like that. I would say the worst part was the whole movie. Like it was just.
Yeah, solid.
But But again, there's so many interesting things that as a movie person who enjoys movies, like Liam Neeson's in this movie. He's good in every scene. So it's kind of hard to say there's a bad thing going on besides the whole movie.
I don't know if it's that hard. For me, it was the fact that there wasn't really conflict until like an hour into. It's like almost a 2-hour movie, or right at 2 hours. The conflict didn't come until, and it wasn't really even that. It was like the news is gonna catch her, like she's gonna become a spectacle. But it was seriously like over an hour in, and I love the dialogue between the news guy who comes to like find her, and then when Liam's there, and Liam Neeson like grabs his camera and fights him. He's like, "I'm sorry, that was an overreaction," And then immediately the guy says, I wrote it down before. He said, "Well, it's like this, Dr. Lovell. I'm a newsman."
Yeah.
And then Liam said, "We'll find some other news." Yeah. And, that kind of writing is just what really brings it home.
How did you guys get this feeling? I thought for 100% sure that there was going to be a sexual assault at some point in this film.
There
And
almost was,
They
yeah.
like with that photographer
And the
like,
pool-
they didn't
beautiful
explain that
young
he was like a
hermit
guy who
woman.
just shows up at her house.
I mean, in the tagline, beautiful young hermit
and the guys at the
woman.
bar are talking about it.
Get
and
her
then,
to flash them, and she's dancing around. But
well, yeah, and then
I thought it was about to happen.
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and then it just never does, which is good. I mean, we don't need to
Well,
see
again,
that,
the way I guess now thinking about it, this movie reminds me of a movie they would make for like NBC 2-night special for the family kind of thing. Fox used
and
to
then
do that.
put Al Roker in it. Yeah.
Yeah, like they used to
Yeah.
do that as like a 2-night special presentation of this heartfelt story of this family being separated, whatever.
And
this
Al
is-
Roker as Nell's long lost father.
But no, like this is what this movie reminded me of, where it was just too safe, and like they would never. Like I bet you're at the round table of Nell, and they'd be like, "No, we're not having a sexual assault in this movie." Like that would change the tone.
Yes.
Yeah, but they
So-
alluded enough to where you felt like it was going to happen, like you were
kept
ready
thinking
for
it was
it.
coming, and then it never did.
I think that's because we're in 2018 brain mode, because that would happen in 2018 now. That would for sure happen.
Yeah.
This is 1994.
We'll talk about 2018 Nell here in a little bit, but how about this cringiest scene? There was a lot of scenes that made me cringe as I was watching the movie. Cringiest scene. I've got two. I'll go first. The first one is when Liam Neeson is trying to give Nell candy, and Blonde Doctor says, "You shouldn't give her all that junk food." And he said, "Don't you remember when you were a kid and that first explosion of sweetness hit your mouth?" And I went like, ugh. That's awkward. And then the other part is just the entire court scene where Nell stands up to give her defense. And at first she's just like, At first, she's just in front of this large crowd of people, just going like, "That's about lab, dude, bad, bad." And the judge is like, "Yeah, we don't know what you're saying." And then Liam Neeson stands up and starts to now that he has mastered her language, he starts to translate. Yeah. And it's just it's supposed to be like a proud moment, but it just, to me, I was like so uncomfortable the entire time as he's hearing her language, and then they say something and he has to speak it back to her in her language.
Again,
and
like this
they're
is
just taking his word for it.
Well, this is
yeah, exactly.
This is the round table thing. Like, imagine this scene. You're trying to set up this scene, storyboard it, and it's just gibberish. And I like that's to me kind of like, as an actor, I guess at one point you're like, I'm getting paid. I mean, this movie cost $31 million. This movie cost $31 million.
I gotta get paid.
Was she nominated for an Academy Award for this?
Cannot.
Definitely. She probably
yes,
was.
Best Actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nominated for this movie.
Jodie Foster was nominated for leading actress in Screen Actors Guild, MTV, Chicago Firm, Golden Globes, and she won the Screen Actors Guild Award. So she won a legitimate award for this movie.
Can we just address the sound that's happening right now?
Yeah, well, this is the emergency place. But the cringiest moment for me is when they discovered that it wasn't gibberish, it was the stroke mama. And to me, that was bizarre. And I liked it because it made sense, but it was just more of one of those, like, really? That's how we're going to explain why she talks gibberish her entire life? Because her mother had a stroke at a young age.
And so she just spoke her mom's stroke language.
And she just spoke her mom's stroke language. That's the big secret.
Yeah.
For me, I got two cringy things. The first is the bar scene, I think, with the guys, and she walks.
It's probably because your mind was going the wrong way the whole time. You really wanted that to happen.
That was pretty cringy. Yeah, no, I did not. But I tell you, when she takes Liam Neeson down to the place where she's apparently hidden her dead sister's body for many years, the thing that bothers me is they never go get that body. This is like something that like you would do if you found a dead body. You'd call the cops. They would go get it. Never happened.
Yeah, well, that kid doesn't exist on the grid, though, man.
Well, they kept having that argument about leaving her alone. Like, let her be. Let her do her thing. And then it's like they allowed it for those kind of things. Like, let her be. Let her have her dead sister right here.
Allowed to be left out there.
And who fell, by the way?
I thought she drowned.
She fell.
She fell. I don't remember how she died.
I thought it was she fell and drowned. Like, they were playing and she fell. And then, like...
Is that why Nell does that, like, fake backflop thing all the time?
I think so.
Is that, like, modeling her sister's fall to death?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
who really knows?
No one knows.
Yeah,
Nell knows.
Nell knows.
Yeah, what the Nell? Let's move through these next two categories kind of quick here so we can get to the last couple. Best Nell line. Favorite line that Nell says. Do you have one, Chris?
I don't.
I don't.
No. For me, it's crazy, crazy.
One thing too,
kind of reminds me of CeeLo Green. Oh, that's another. Okay, that's another mashup. We need to put.
He got it.
No, we need to put Yoko Ono and Nell together, and then we need to put that song. Does that make you crazy? I'm gonna spend the next week working on both these.
Connor,
yeah, man.
Connor, Chris, I want to know. Explain this part to me. Remember they were trying to explain that she does everything at night.
Yeah, because she's afraid of the dark or the light. I mean,
the men come out in the daytime, supposedly, is what I took from that.
But where the house was, it wasn't like it was in a cave.
It was like not that far off the pond.
It was pretty well lit.
Yeah.
So you're telling me she literally stayed, like, in a dark area during the day for what, 6 years?
Maybe just like inside the house though was safe for her or something.
I just didn't really understand why that was important to talk about.
I don't know that. It was. I think it explained how she didn't get. They were trying to explain how she had never been seen, and it's because she only came out at night. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. All right, how about this? Best use of chickpea. Do you have a favorite moment of chickpea?
No, I don't.
I like when she first meets Liam Neeson. Was she holding a knife or something? And she screams chickpea and charges at him.
Oh man!
For those that don't know, we keep saying that word. It's a prominent word. Did they ever discover what chickpea means?
No, I didn't.
Did they ever figure that one out?
No, but I did find out what they were trying to accuse or label her Asperger syndrome.
Oh, that's right.
They were trying to say she had Asperger's, and that's why they wanted to keep her under microscope.
Although I don't think if you have Asperger's, they can just take you.
And the doctor woman, she works with autistic children.
Okay.
That's what it is. So I can just clear that up.
All right. Well, so another question: could this movie get made in 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I think
there's
it would.
Hallmark Channel.
I could see this being remade.
Really?
Like, oh yeah.
See, I think that they could make it, but I don't think that they ever would because I think it would be too. To me, it's like it's like awkward now.
You know, they
because-
made a spinoff with more edgy 2017. It's called The Room.
Yeah,
Or it's called Room.
No, that's so different. But I think it's too awkward for people because it's too much of like sensitivity to people with mental disorders and sensitivity to like, I don't know.
Well, that would be the conflict.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's like a weird, I don't know. To me, it just feels like a weird like tweener where you're not really hitting that spot, but then it's like still like, are people making fun of it? Or are they watching it?
There was a good span of movies in the 90s where it was like first encounter kind of movies in the sense of like, they're experiencing what we take for granted for the first time, and it's like the wonder of the world. Like, what happened to everyone's wonder?
Like Jungle to Jungle.
Well, there was Jungle to Jungle. What was that blind movie with? Iceman from Top Gun with Val Kilmer? Remember, it was like he was blind and they fixed him for like 2
Batman
weeks.
Forever.
Yeah.
No, we are talking about.
No, I don't
There was a
know.
movie he was blind,
First
but they
Sight.
fixed him.
I think First Sight is what it's called.
Yeah, and then there, Flowers for Algernon.
Did he realize his wife was like hideous or something and it caused some trouble there?
No, it was like, I forgot what it was, but yeah, like I think there's a lot of '90s movies with that like newfound wonder, and let's just kind of make a.
It was a
movie
simpler
about it.
time, right? It was a simpler time. Okay, if they remade Nell today, who would play Nell?
Cardi B.
Well, she does have
I cannot understand a word she says.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect.
And it has,
don't know.
it has a little racial diversity there.
I don't know what you could
Who would you pick, Dick? Who would play Nell?
I think okay. So we're talking about a serious Academy Award.
Oh yeah,
winning,
I
like,
think it
we're
would have to
going
have the
for
same
it.
tone. Yeah,
We're going for it.
I'll tell you who I picked. I think that they would go. I think they'd pursue someone like a Rooney Mara type, like a weird, like a little strange, a little bit different looking, but still like attractive, I guess, but kind of in a weird way. She's made some weird choices. She's obviously not afraid to go a little outside the box. She already made herself the dragon tattoo girl, so I mean,
Miley Cyrus would also be a good.
Yeah, I think Lindsay Lohan is speaking Nell's. Like, I feel bad for Lindsay Lohan and everything she's going through right now.
She's doing the urban now.
Yeah, did you see that? We talked about that Lindsay Lohan video
Yeah.
where she's in like Syria or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Urban.
Wait,
Nell.
actually, you don't like that?
You have an idea who'd play her?
No way, man. Well, one thing I want to say is this movie made the budget was $31 million. How much money do you think it made?
Well, I already looked it up, so I'm not gonna say.
So,
I'm gonna say total. It probably made 25.
total 106 million.
Worldwide.
that's really
Worldwide.
good.
Worldwide.
73
good.
million overseas.
And they did an equivalent to, so the movie budget in 2017, if they did it in 2017, it'd be 51 million. And the box office would be 176 million.
That's a hit.
And again, like, I think that was because of Schindler's List and Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a star power.
because Rob Roy came out a couple years later, and that, like, I mean, he had a good span of movies, and this movie just kind of got pulled through. Like, nope, no one's gonna remember this, no one's gonna care, and this movie was so bad.
All right, a couple last questions. Did any part of this movie actually hit you in the feels?
No.
Did any part make you
No.
feel anything? Like, it was trying to be very evocative of your emotion.
Well, like
It was.
the overall with the explanation of why she's alone, it was really sad. Like if you look at it from taking a step back, because I didn't really piece it well together. Like when you find out a product of rape, and then she had to live with a mom who had a stroke for so long. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Her twin sister died.
And her twin sister, especially that. And
But did the movie make you feel anything?
no,
Yeah,
but
it's a sad idea.
Again, like this movie could be remade, but it wouldn't be the same movie.
Hopefully not.
Well, I mean, you still have this the silly language thing, but
Yeah.
like you can make that into an interesting thing. But the thing that again that made me feel like there's a movie there, and it can pull at heartstrings just because of. I think also when she hit the glass, it kind of took you out of the moment because you were kind of sad that she was seeing her
Exactly,
dead
and
sister.
that's my part. For one split second in the hospital, I actually had a moment where I started to kind of like connect and feel for her as they're dragging her away to be like in the psych ward or whatever, and she sees her dead twin sister,
Yes.
and she's screaming and reaching and clawing, and then she breaks free and runs towards it,
And then
face first into the glass. Blood splatters everywhere. She hits the ground.
That's so horrible.
Oh, it was so bad.
We got to find a still of that.
man.
Yeah, it pretty.
I tried to look it up. I really did. I was like, man, that you. It's one of those things where whoever the visual guy on the set was like, why is this in this movie?
I don't know.
Because that's sudden violence. It's like all of a sudden violent.
It was very jarring. And it pulled me out of any moment of emotion.
There's some
that I
nose
might
bone
have.
left on the glass. Like, I mean, it was.
So what'll be a lasting moment from this for you guys? Anything?
Chickapay.
Chickapay. What I written is
the inappropriate patient-doctor relationship. That's what will stick with me. So if I go to the doctor and this guy gets naked, I'm gonna find another
at least
guy.
you'll have a frame of reference for it, though.
I
It
will.
won't come out of nowhere like he's a Nell doctor.
Yeah.
I'll say that I won't remember 1 ounce of this plot. I already have forgotten most of it. I don't remember why anything was happening. But I will never forget the movie broadly. Like Nell will forever broadly be in my mind. Yeah.
And what was up with the
language.
sheriff's wife? They never explained that.
Yeah, she like also had a disorder, but then
Yeah.
kind of connected with Nell and maybe got like healed by the end or something. I don't know. Like he was like just walking the streets with her all sad, and people would be like, "Oh man, it's so terrible to see
Right.
that." I don't remember why exactly or what.
Well, that gives me more ammunition for the idea that no one knew what was going on day to day, and Liam Nielsen.
Or they cut out all the parts that made sense maybe because it was too long. Maybe like the 4-hour cut of
Do you
this
think
made like
so?
a lot.
Look that up.
Maybe the 4-hour cut makes a lot of sense, and then the two.
We got
the
2
2-hour.
minutes. We can keep talking about it. Let me.
All right. Well,
let me
last
try
thing.
to see.
Score this 1 to 10. We did this for Jack Ryan.
Oh, 10.
Okay. Chris, what do you think? 1 to 10.
I would
guys.
say it's about a 6. So it's not the worst movie ever.
Really, a 6 out of 10?
Yeah.
You like this? If you had 100 movies that you've seen, this is the 60th best one or the 40th best one, I guess.
Well, I mean, using that logic, no, but I mean, it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a big fan of '90s movies because of the simpler plots and
You're a simple guy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're just so complicated nowadays. It's just there's a lot in a movie nowadays, and it's nice to see a kind of simple story.
Yeah, well, I gave it a 4.0. I gave Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit a 5.5, I think, and this was to me significantly worse, and so 5.5.
Well, here, I got some interesting facts for you guys.
We got to give tickets away too.
Well, we can go longer.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
talk to the boss. So Ali Sheedy turned down the role for Nell.
Okay.
Do you know who Ali Sheedy is? She's
Yes.
popular in the 80s,
Yep.
Breakfast Club. She played the kind of the
Oh,
hermit girl, so
yeah.
she fits really well with that. Another funny thing was Jodie Foster has declared that this role is her favorite.
Oh my gosh.
And then she was originally planned to direct the film. Jodie Foster was.
But then they realized she was a woman and
I
didn't let her
believe
do
Yeah,
it.
probably. It's probably, this is the 90s where, whatever. Another thing is for some reason, there's 2 notes of bands dedicating either the band name or a song after Nell.
Where they just mumble.
So there's that. And
Ali
then
Sheedy would have been better at Nell than Jodie Foster.
Liam
I think.
Neeson and Natasha Richardson got married the same year as the movie's release.
Oh, that's sweet.
So but then for some reason they want to point out that she died in
that's
2009, which has nothing to do with this movie.
I think Ali Sheedy as Nell would have been less like Jodie Foster being Nell to me was distracting because the whole time I was like, that's Jodie Foster, I
And,
don't know.
and Jodie said to get prepared for her role, she read books like The Wild Child, and she read it. She read more French books about wild. I don't know why.
This was directed by Michael Apted, who directed The World's Not Enough.
Yeah, I know. I saw
James
that.
Bond movie. So
No,
it's one
he
of my
directed
favorite
some
James Bond
legit movies too, and that's what was kind of surprised. Like he
No,
did,
It's a legit movie. I
like
think
he
it's a
did
good movie.
the
think Nell
TV
was a
show
good movie?
Rome. The TV show
it's not
Rome.
Yeah, I mean it's like well enough made, I guess.
For the crap they turn out nowadays, I mean, if you compare it to like even the lineup this year, it's probably in the top 5 best movies of this year.
Oh, Chris,
I would say
Christopher. Oh, Christopher, that is not true.
I think we have one. I said my favorite movie would be Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
There may be another movie that might unseat that. It's not Nell.
Oh yeah, please no. All right, we've got to give away. Talk about how we can give away some tickets to the Grand Theater. We didn't have a live show last week, so for next week's show, in honor of the Halloween movie that has just come out, there's something special about the October 19th release date of the new Halloween movie. What is it that is special about the October 19th release date? Chris, do you know?
I might know.
you might know. All right, we'll tune in next week, or actually not tune in next week for the answer, but between now and then, tweet at us if you know the answer. You can win 2 tickets to the Grand Theater and Movie Tavern, which is something that we do every single week. Next week, looking ahead, or for next month, we're going to do a group rewind of Little Fockers. Be careful how you say it.
It's a holiday movie.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, apparently.
Now,
sequel to
when
Meet the Parents, and then Meet the Fockers, and then Little. So this is the third.
I didn't know this existed till today.
Okay, well, I'm sure that we'll all know much more about it by next month.
So
you have a month to watch that, so you can join in
Little
on the fun.
Fuckers.
These group rewinds are much more fun if you have seen the
Getting
movie.
close there.
Yeah,
on that print.
Little Fuckers.
Yeah.
You go.
And then the other thing, so do y'all know what you're going to watch for next week? Does anybody have an idea?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the new Halloween movie.
Oh, okay, you're going to talk about it next week?
Yeah.
Great, all right. You know,
Casper.
Casper. Are you going to stay and watch it?
I think I might.
Okay, Casper the Friendly Ghost. And for me, I'm going to do a rapid rewind because there's 3 movies that I need to talk about that I've seen in the last 2 weeks and haven't had a chance on the show. A Star is Born. I didn't talk about that one yet, did I?
Did you cry in that movie
I
too?
don't know if you did or not.
Okay, well, I'll look that one up.
I'm in and out. I don't remember what we do.
Yeah, I'll look that one up if I've talked about it. First Man, and then Bad Times at the El Royale. I'll be talking about all 3 of those movies next week. But other than that, make sure if you're in town on Saturday, you come to the Grand Theater at 11 a.m. and check us out at the Grand's Halloween Spooktacular, which is what I have named it. Probably not what Chris is calling it.
That works as long as you use Trick or Treat.
There we go. And we've got some good guests coming up in the next month and a half or so. We don't want to announce them yet because they're not firmed up yet as far as the exact dates. But be looking for some cool interviews we're going to have down the road. Other than that, we'll have another show next week. We got more good stuff. We're coming into the holiday season, which is always fun for movies, always fun for the show here. So come see us on Saturday. For Dick, for Chris, my name is Connor. We're signing off here on the Ticket Stub.
Let's begin.